Why your cat goes crazy over catnip. Cats have fascinated humans for thousands of years, not only because of their mysterious personalities, but also because of their curious reactions to certain plants, especially catnip. Anyone who has watched a cat encounter catnip for the first time has likely witnessed what looks like pure chaos. Rolling, rubbing, leaping, darting around the room, or suddenly entering a dreamy, euphoric state. To a human observer, it may appear as though the cat has become intoxicated. While the behavior may seem humorous or strange, there is actually a well-understood scientific explanation behind this phenomenon. The secret lies in a chemical compound found in catnip and the unique way a cat's brain responds to it. Catnip, scientifically known as nepetalactone, is a member of the mint family. The plant contains a volatile compound called nepetalactone, which is primarily stored in microscopic bulbs on the leaves and stems. When these bulbs break, such as when a cat bites, crushes, or rubs against the plant, the compound is released into the air. Cats detect this molecule through their olfactory system. When a cat inhales nepetalactone, the chemical binds to receptors inside the nose that normally respond to pheromones, the natural chemical signals animals use to communicate with each other. Once detected, the signal travels through the cat's olfactory bulb and into the brain, particularly affecting areas linked to emotion and behavior. Research suggests that nepetalactone indirectly stimulates the brain's amygdala and hypothalamus, two regions involved in emotional responses, pleasure, and instinctual behaviors. The result is a temporary surge in activity within neural pathways that are associated with reward and stimulation. Essentially, catnip activates parts of the brain that make the cat feel excited, playful, or euphoric. Scientists often compare the effect to the way certain substances stimulate reward circuits in other mammals, although the mechanism is unique and harmless for cats. Interestingly, the behavior that follows exposure to catnip often resembles natural feline instincts. A cat may roll on the ground, rub its face on the plant, kick it with its hind legs, or suddenly sprint around the room. These actions are believed to mimic behaviors related to mating, territorial marking, and hunting. When a cat rubs against catnip, it is not only enjoying the sensation, but also attempting to coat itself with the scent. This behavior may have evolutionary roots. Some researchers propose that wild cats historically rubbed themselves against aromatic plants like catnip to repel insects or parasites. However, not all cats respond to catnip. Sensitivity to nepetalactone is largely genetic. Studies suggest that about 60 to 70% of domestic cats show a noticeable reaction, while the rest appear completely uninterested. If a cat lacks the specific gene that enables its receptors to respond to nepetalactone, the plant will have little to no effect. Age also plays a role. Kittens younger than about 3 to 6 months typically do not react to catnip at all, because their neurological systems are still developing. As they mature, they may gradually develop sensitivity. Another fascinating aspect of catnip is how temporary its effects are. After a cat encounters catnip, the intense reaction usually lasts around 10 to 15 minutes. Following this period, the cat becomes temporarily immune to the plant's effects for about 30 minutes to an hour. During this time, additional exposure will not produce the same reaction. Scientists believe this temporary resistance occurs because the brain's receptors become desensitized after repeated stimulation. Once the receptors reset, the cat can respond again. The form of catnip can also influence how cats behave. When cats smell catnip, they usually become energetic and playful. They may run, jump, or engage in bursts of hyperactivity. On the other hand, when cats eat catnip, the effect tends to be more calming or sedative. Ingested catnip interacts slightly differently with the nervous system, sometimes producing a relaxed, sleepy response rather than excitement. This dual effect, stimulating when smelled and calming when eaten, is another reason catnip is widely used in toys and enrichment products. Despite the dramatic reactions cats display, catnip is completely safe and non-addictive. Cats cannot overdose on it, and they naturally regulate their exposure. If they have had enough, they simply walk away. This self-limiting behavior is one reason veterinarians often recommend catnip as a form of environmental enrichment. Indoor cats, in particular, benefit from stimulation that encourages exercise and mental engagement. Catnip toys can trigger hunting instincts, promote physical activity, and reduce boredom. Interestingly, the catnip response is not limited to domestic cats alone. Many wild members of the feline family, such as lions, leopards, and cougars, also respond to catnip in a similar way. Videos of large cats rolling enthusiastically in catnip demonstrate that the neurological response appears to be conserved across the feline lineage. However, some species, including tigers, show less consistent reactions. The variation likely reflects subtle differences in genetics and receptor sensitivity among species. Scientists have also begun exploring whether catnip could have broader ecological functions. Recent research suggests that when cats roll in catnip, they may actually be coating their fur with nepetalactone, which can repel mosquitoes and other biting insects. Experiments have shown that insects are less likely to land on surfaces treated with the compound. This discovery hints that the catnip response might have originally evolved as a form of chemical defense, rather than simply a pleasurable experience. From a behavioral science perspective, catnip provides a fascinating example of how specific chemicals can trigger complex behavioral responses through the nervous system. The plant evolved its aromatic compounds for its own protection, yet those same molecules interact with feline biology in a way that produces joy, excitement, and curiosity. This intersection between plant chemistry and animal neurobiology demonstrates the intricate connections that exist in nature. In the end, when your cat rolls on the floor, purrs loudly, or zooms across the room after encountering catnip, it is not simply acting silly. Instead, you are witnessing a brief moment where plant chemistry interacts directly with feline brain circuits responsible for pleasure, instinct, and emotion. What appears to be madness is actually a perfectly natural biological reaction shaped by evolution and genetics. Catnip, in its quiet green leaves, holds a remarkable chemical key that unlocks one of the most entertaining behaviors in the animal world.